Good evening everybody and welcome to the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort. We're actually now travelling into the future because if you are watching this live, then you know in real life the Zandvoort Grand Prix, the Dutch Grand Prix, that is actually happening this coming weekend in real life. However, we of course have been speeding through this game over this last week or so. We've already managed to complete the first 18 tracks of the season. We're about to go into the final 8. So we're getting into the final third of this season. Now, to be perfectly honest, you may be wondering why I am on the qualifying results page. Well, the reason for that is because of the fact we've taken a grid penalty. We've taken a grid penalty, so I didn't really think there was much point in you actually watching qualifying, considering the fact that every time we've been doing qualifying, we always get eliminated in qualifying 1 anyway, but also the fact that it was raining and the fact, excuse me, that we had a grid penalty, so we're going to be finishing, or rather starting right at the back of the grid. We basically have taken a new engine, a new gearbox and a new ERS system for both cars, so they're both doing this right at the back. However, the only time we use them is briefly in practice session 1 because I wanted to get these penalties so I could get them out of the way, and then we'll save the new parts for when we really do need them as we move through. So it was a wet qualifying, but it's going to be a nice dry race. So time wise, of course, the one pit strategy is going to of course be the optimum. It said 0% historic chance of there being a safety car. However, we have had a number of crashes, particularly on turn 1. A lot of drivers, they've been really speeding down the pit straight, locking up, crashing into barriers and really spinning out and damaging a lot of the cars. So if you didn't watch the last episode where the safety car really threw a spanner into the works and gave us our undoubted best finish of the season, if you haven't watched that yet, what are you doing here? Go back and watch that episode, go back and watch that, and then come back and tune in back to this episode. So the safety car could potentially come into play. So how are we going to do this? Is it theoretically possible that we could do the medium, the soft and then mediums? To be honest, you are literally pushing it. So unless we get a VSC, I don't imagine it's going to happen. For this, let's get this back to good levels. I think realistically you're still pushing it with the soft and hards, although tyre wear has been a heck of a lot better than predicted. So what I'm going to do, because we're starting at the back, we are going to switch these around. We're going to start on the hard compound tyres each time. And so Jack is going to do the hards onto the mediums. We're going to go for that one. And then Alexander Albon, we're going to go slightly different. We're going to go softs, hards onto the softs. Now it is pushing it. It is pushing it, but Alexander Albon has a much better race pace, especially with his tyre wear. Oh, actually, you know what? I've changed my mind. We're gonna still start on the hards. I'm gonna go for mediums because then we can push a little bit harder with them. But then if there's a safety car, then we can look to change the strategy. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. There we go. So it's going to be around there, about lap 43 or so. There we go. And that is the one that we're going to choose. So, 80% confidence in the setup for Jack. And it's 83% here. Let's just underfuel our car. Because we're more than going to make that back in the race. We always do. And of course we want to push very hard at the very start. There you go. So as you can see there, Jack is starting in P19, Alex is starting in P20. So there we go. So for Jack, we're looking to pit around about lap 40. For Alexander, we're looking to do around about lap 43. That is going to do it. Let's go to Zandvoort.
It's sunny and bright as the drivers line up on the grid. Looking at the Williams now. They're starting in the bottom half of the grid today, so there's a lot of cars between them and the podium. And then we've got Alex Albon. They're in the back half of the pack, so they'll need to work hard if they want a podium finish. Will their hard work pay off today? Here we go. It's the Dutch Grand Prix.
Okay, so I'm going to pause right at the very start because I just want to have a quick look at the grid.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
Okay, so quite a few grid penalties here. So, my God, Vettel is starting all the way up in P11. So he's had a 4 grid boost. So as we go down, it is in order: Perez, Verstappen, Hamilton, Gasly, Russell, Bottas, Alonso, Zhou, Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, Vettel, Magnussen, Norris, Stroll, Leclerc, Sainz, Ocon, Ricciardo, and then of course us at the back. Now this could be a very short race, depending on how we do in it, because of course we want to see how well we can do.
You can afford to drop back. Okay.
We want to leave court, please.
Copy. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Okay, so as it currently stands, Jack has managed to gain 2 places over Ocon and Ricciardo.
Gain a position.
Oof! Very good there, and Albon manages to overtake Ricciardo there.
Nice work.
There we are, coming on to the final bend, onto the main straight. I love the angle of this. I think it's a beautiful bend, and obviously you have a slightly elevation. I do really like Zandvoort because of the fact it's obviously a very high speed circuit. It's very fast, lots of corners, lots of potential for overtaking. The one thing, if I'm going to be honest, I'm maybe not so keen on is of course the fact it is the home Grand Prix for Max Verstappen. I'm not the biggest fan of Max Verstappen. I think he's a little bit cocky, and a lot of time I don't think he's truly earned it. You know, obviously he is officially now world champion in real life. It's arguable whether he deserved to win last year. You know, don't get me wrong, he did absolutely fantastic in over the course of the season. When it comes down to the absolute final race of the season, and you're tied on points, and all that he had to do was make sure that Hamilton finished behind him. Because if Hamilton had everything to lose, if he attacked too much, he crashed into Verstappen, and Verstappen crashed out along with Lewis Hamilton. Max Verstappen won by virtue of the countback. That's it. And had that been the way that it would have gone, it would have been so disappointing. And to be perfectly honest, if Lewis had managed to get back ahead of him on that final lap, I would not be surprised if Max Verstappen did something stupid to literally try to take both of them out. in the heat of the moment. I honestly do. I think that definitely could have been a situation that would have happened. So, you know, who knows? You know, like I said, it's arguable whether one of them deserved to win it or both of them deserved to win or to lose or whatever. Personally speaking, I just wasn't a fan of how it finished, and I don't think that one driver deserved to win more than another. And that's my personal viewpoint on the matter. Okay, so we undercut the fuel at the start of this race by 4 laps, and as you can see, we have already made that back. We have already made that back up, already so quickly, which is fantastic. So Albon is currently dropping down to P19. Ocon's managed to overtake him. Jack Doohan has overtaken Stroll, so he is currently up to P16.
That's a good overtake from Alpine.
And we are going to be skipping through a little bit, just allow the race to kind of settle in. Whilst we do that, let's take a look at the tyres. So Jack's the only one on the hard compound tyres. Everybody else is either the softs or the mediums. And that, oh sorry, Albon is as well. Magnussen Spanner, let's just take a look at that incident there. Oof. Let's spin out there, but for the looks of it, no real reason why he span out. Maybe it was just pushing that a little bit too hard. Okay, so we skipped on a little bit. Lance Stroll, he is already 2 seconds off the pace of Jack Doohan. So Lance Stroll once again not doing a very good job. Vettel, obviously he started in P11. Of course he did have a number of cars that were started behind him. So, including Charles Leclerc and Sainz, obviously for the Ferrari, who have already managed to make their way up to P8 and P9 respectively. Hamilton is on the podium. He is obviously going to be really motivated following on from that race win in Spa. So he's going to want to do really well. And of course, he is less than half a second off the pace of Verstappen at the moment. So considering where they have been for the rest of the season and how far they've been dropping off, that is really good for them. So Alexander Albon is right behind Lance Stroll at the moment and is really looking to push. So we're just going to go a little bit, and as he actually does manage to go past him. So we're going to look to use that ERS, always get confused between the two, and just look to push with that. So let's watch that replay.
Now watch this. Here's the moment involving Albon.
Around the outside, so it took him a little bit longer to do than he would have wanted, but that obviously gives him a slight bit of the inside line for the next corner.
That was a big moment. The team are clearly delighted.
Increase lifting codes. Copy.
So Alex managed to catch up to the back of the next pack. So that is, he's right behind now Alexander Albon, is Esteban Ocon and Sebastian Vettel. And this is where we currently are, because Vettel just does not have the pace to get up. Oh, sorry, Lando Norris does not have the pace, rather, to get to Guan Yu Zhou. So P13 backwards, it is all looking relatively tight. Kevin Magnussen well off the pace there, about 4 seconds back off Ricciardo.
Use the rest. Copy.
And it looks like Vettel was having to go over Norris, but didn't quite get the move stick. He could now be under pressure from Ocon. Let's just watch on board. Let's just have a look at that. But it looks like Ocon is now beginning to lose out. Vettel now challenging for Norris again. But Norris has the edge. So nice little train developing here. And then Alexander Albon just dropping back that little bit by about 2.5 seconds. We're now getting back into the normal range, so we're going to be able to push on that a little bit more again. Going to go back down into neutral there. And just look to conserve our fuel just a little bit. How are our tyres looking?
Yep, copy.
Absolutely bang on target as it currently stands. So again, we're going to fast forward a little bit, just see how we're going. A little bit of backwards and forth there with Ocon.
DRS is currently disabled. DRS is currently disabled.
Copy.
And of course, we've got a good 20 or so laps until we get into our pit window. So we're really now starting to settle down into this race. How are the soft compound tyres looking? To be honest, I'll tell you what, looking at that, the difference between the medium and those hards are so negligible. They really, really are. I believe the mediums could probably last as easily as long as the hard compound tyres, but are they going to lose their integrity and their speed as you get a little bit further on? That is definitely a possibility. And Albon has now just been overtaken by Daniel Ricciardo, so just dropping back that little bit. Actually, maybe a little bit too much with the fuel, so we're just going to ease off that there. And just see how everything goes. Not too worried about that because we're constantly going backwards and forwards a little bit with the fuel levels. And we're starting to get a few pits a few people coming into the pits. A lot of those soft drivers. So yeah, we're looking in that region of about the 40-50% mark. That's where they begin to really start looking to change. So it means that doing an Albon now currently in P14 and P15. And I see a lot more people now starting to come into the pits. I'm just going to tune in as we come to around about lap 29. Just see how we are all settling in. Because you can see, obviously, we're getting to that point where we're around about 9 to 12 laps away from needing to take our pit stop. So I'm just going to ask them to bounce off their fuel just a little bit for the time being. And if we take a look at the tyre wear, again, we're looking bang on where we want to be at this current moment in time. So Russell and Hamilton, they have made the switch onto the from the mediums to the hards. So if that means that they're going 40 laps or so on the hards, that bears fairly well for what we were looking to do. And once again, we're just getting to that point where the fuel is getting into good position as well. So we're just going to go back to normal levels. Currently, Jack is up into P10 and Albon into P12. Of course, we are in the pit stop window. If we manage to get a safety car around about that time when we're due to come in, that would be incredibly advantageous. So we lose out, we save ourselves a lot of time. As it is, we're probably going to be coming out in the region of around about... Oh, the spin out from Russell. Let's take a look at this. We've had very little action in this race so far. Oh, that is not going to do those new tyres any good. So we're now the only two drivers that have yet to stop. And to be honest, Albon is doing relatively comparable times to Esteban Ocon, who is literally on a brand new set of hards. So to be honest, I don't think we're doing too bad.
Okay, we want to increase lift and coast.
So we're into that pit window now. How are we doing for tyres? Again, Jack is literally bang on point with it. I'm thinking, do we consider just stretching that tiny, couple of laps longer? And I think we are going to do that. So I think we want to just take advantage of those medium compound tyres, just give ourselves a tiny bit more towards the end. Jack's still doing relatively good times. Yeah, still doing really, really good ones. So we're going to just keep it going for maybe 1 or 2 more laps. Okay, so Jack is going to be coming in now.
Looks like that was a position gained for Alfa Romeo.
And we are starting to just lose our little bit to those faster cars. Yep, no, that's absolutely fine. Don't you worry. We are keeping an eye on that. So Jack is in the pit. What do we manage to get? A slightly slow stop, 2.7. I mean, we've been averaging lately around about the 2.4, 2.5. So where is Jack going to come out? Got Red Bull there, and then he's got Vettel right behind him. So we have got ahead of Vettel, which is exactly what we would have wanted. Okay, so now for Alex, we are just going to go full on attack. Full on attack with those tyres. We're going to use up everything that we have got. I was about to say, I thought that we were behind McLaren there, and we are indeed. Got the Mick Schumacher right behind us as well. We just want to keep pushing, pushing, pushing. And this is now going to be the pit stop that we come in for, which will currently put us out around about P19. That's absolutely fine. Tyres are probably getting a little warm. We're not really pushing that much either, which is slightly concerning. Ever so slightly. And here we are, about to come into the pit lane. Let's see whereabouts we come out. So 2.7 was the stop for Jack Doohan. What do we manage to get for Alex? Could we get the under 2 seconds? Probably not. Nah. 2.43. So we've probably gained about 0.2 of a second on him, just in the pit stop alone. And we have dropped behind Ricciardo and Vettel. We should remain still ahead of Magnussen, and we do by a very comfortable margin. So I'm just going to ask him to push on just this initial opening lap.
Reduce lifting close.
Just want to catch right back up to Vettel, which we should be doing quite quickly. There you are, there you can see Vettel right ahead of us. Just want to get within that 1 second range. And then we can just ease off those tyres just that little bit. I'm asked Jack just to step off the fuel just that little bit. Just want to get back into the range, and there we go, we're into that. And I'll tell you what, we're going to go into aggressive mode. We can push a little bit more.
Yes.
Do that fuel, get that down into the right levels. There we go. So now we've got the battle with Ricciardo, Vettel and Albon. We're in a nice little train. So this could be literally for finishing in P15.
regain a position. We can take a look now. Now just take a look at the McLaren.
So they had the inside line there, a big long corner which gives them it, but then of course then you got the second right hand inside corner line. So of course Jack was always going to be a bit of a sitting duck there in that regard.
The team had such high hopes today. What a shame.
So Jack's managed to get ahead of him again, although he has lost that again almost immediately. And we're looking really good there for the strategies there. So because we're on the mediums, we should have, in theory, slightly better pace. Oh, someone's locked up in Sector 2. Who was this? And Gasly has got a time penalty, and it's a crash. It is a multiple car crash.
There's been contact and several cars involved. Let's take a closer look. Now look at this. It was the AlphaTauri driver involved.
Oh. Oh.
You can clearly see the contact there.
So doesn't look like that'll be a actual safety car or anything, but Pierre Gasly has definitely got himself a penalty, which if that's only a 5-second penalty, the car spun, somebody spun out. Oh, now we're starting to get into nuts of it. It was Lando Norris.
Watch this, we're looking at Lando Norris.
Oh, nice avoiding action there, which was, I believe, Mick Schumacher. I managed to overtake him. Does that mean Ricciardo manages to catch up a little bit to him? Pierre Gasly is in the pit. Pierre Gasly is in the pit. Is he having to change the front wing or anything that could slow him down? Of course, he is having to serve his time penalty as well. Is that going to come into play with us? Realistically, probably not. And no, because he's already out and he's back out into P12. Jack's trying to have a go on to Ricciardo, but Ricciardo just manages to stay ahead on this occasion. And he's going for it again. He's trying to go around the outside, but just not enough of the track to be able to do it. And Mick Schumacher is in the pits. I did see that his tyre wear was looking a little bit low. I thought it'd be very difficult for those tyres to last all the way to the end. And Vettel is also in the pits doing the same. So Mick Schumacher does drop below us in the table, so that puts Jack into P15 and Alex into P16. So as it currently stands, both drivers are going to get themselves a nice little bonus again today. So Jack, I'm just going to ask him to go a little bit more aggressive with his tyres while we've got a bit of a chance. And Vettel is only just coming out of the pit. This is one of the longest pit straights on the grid. Does it look like anyone else may possibly be having to pit again? I think Magnussen definitely is going to have to pit again. Looking at that, he's on 54% of his tyres on the mediums. It's possible though he'll stretch them out for another 19 laps, but realistically I'm thinking most likely probably not, especially as you consider we're already down about 15% on our tyre wear in only about 10 laps or so. So the chances of that getting there, I very much doubt it. And Jack has finally managed to get ahead of Ricardo.
And a new position just gained by Williams. Here's the replay. Now
So it's right down that pit straight. ERS wide open, DRS rather, and straight ahead of him. And somebody's pit, and Magnussen is in the pits as I suspected he would be. I'm assuming he's probably going to be gearing onto the soft compound tyres.
Down.
That's fine, just back off there please a little bit there, Alex. So Jack doing a nice job to stay ahead of Ricardo at the moment, but he had the inside line for a moment, but then Jack has managed to get it back and gets back in front of him, so he's going to have the inside line going into the next big long corner. Oh, but Ricardo's managed to get it. Who's going to win out on this one? Ricardo might get this on the straights, but then of course we're going 3 wide. 3 wide. Is this going to be Alexander Albon? Oh! Alexander Albon manages to take both drivers in one corner. That I would love to see again. And we're going to see it again momentarily. Here we go. So here we are going 3 wide down the main pit straight. And of course, Ricardo has to brake very suddenly to avoid the collision, which allows Albon, who's got the inside line, to take advantage. Beautiful bit of driving there.
We're having to push. Yep, copy. Yeah. Deploy. Yeah, sure.
So I just want to try and back Ricardo away from Albon, just to try and extend this gap a little bit.
Check the DRS. Okay.
Just try and allow Albon just to stretch out his gap a little bit to avoid a potential overtake. We're going to try and harvest throughout the majority of this.
Okay, back off. Copy.
Another car has spun. Who was it on this occasion?
Sounds like we've had a spin.
It was Guan Yu
Let's take a look
Zhou.
at the replay. Now let's watch this. The Alfa
Again, spun out, absolutely nobody near him, no damage, so he'll just be going back onto the track relatively quickly. But it does mean that Lando Norris has got ahead of him, and Alexander Albon is now around about 20 seconds behind him here. Although Alexander Albon has really severely caught up, so he's around about 5 seconds. So considering where we were before, this is really good news. We possibly could get another place. I managed to get Albon up into P13. And here we go on to the straight, so we're going to use all of it to deploy and to defend.
Full deploy.
But we have got a lapped car. We've got one of the Ferraris coming up behind us, which unfortunately didn't slow down Ricardo too much, and he did manage to slow us down, but luckily we have remained fine, and that has allowed Albon to just begin to stretch away from Jack Doohan. Hopefully when the Ferrari next catches up to him, they'll be able to get by. And another person drops off. Who's looked up this time in sector 3? Possibly Lance Stroll. I just saw him drop.
DRS is currently disabled. DRS is currently disabled.
And Stroll has crashed. Lance Stroll has crashed. Okay, let's just think for one moment. We've got what's this? There's about 16 laps remaining. So just going to get this off so I can pause and just think for one moment. How are we doing tyre-wise? Let's have a look. We are actually doing reasonably well. So there's absolutely no reason that we need to worry about our tyres. So I'm going to put everything onto conserve mode. Really conserve those tyres. So Lance Stroll completely crashed out of this race. Are we going to get an opportunity to see a replay? I sincerely hope so. However, if it is like any of the others that I have seen, it will be very, very similar. The only problem with this, yes, Gasly backwards, we've all been lapped. So we will have to get out of the way, which we didn't have to in Spa in the last race. So is it going to be safety car in this lap? Yes, safety car in this lap. So we're going to put everything into... just pause for 1 second. Just so I can make sure that everyone is doing what they need to do. Actually, we're going to stay on the balanced for the fuel, because we're only at 1 lap up. And we're about to go running again. Safety car is in, and away we go!
Oh, there's a spin!
And Tsunoda's already spun!
Now.
And that was on turn 9, so he must have been really far back.
That...
Yes, Tsunoda's really, really far back.
Use overtake.
Copy.
So currently, as it currently stands, Albon P14. I was about to say Jack in 15, but he's just been overtaken as I spoke by Daniel Ricciardo. Of course, this is really a lot of battle in here. Vettel's just been overtaken by Mick Schumacher, so the Haas are right down the grid at the moment. Yellow flag in sector 3. Has anything happened there? Not anything major that I can see. There was a lock-up by George Russell. Yep, so tyre wear absolutely on point of what I would hope to see at this stage. So the safety car has enabled us just to close up that little bit. So of course, Gasly is still about 45 seconds off Tsunoda. So Tsunoda, unless we get another couple of safety cars, I can't imagine is going to get overtaken. And DRS has been re-enabled. DRS has been re-enabled just as we come down onto the main pit straight. So we're going to be really looking to send this now. And we're still stuck behind Guan Yu Zhou as it currently stands, and just not able to find that tiny extra bit of pace that we need just to get past him. Of course, he has got the DRS from Lando Norris ahead. So we're all just caught in that little DRS chain at the moment. Then we've got to just beginning to drop back, nearly going to be coming out of DRS range. Vettel is already outside of that, so he will be dropping back again once more very, very soon. Tyre-wise, absolutely fine. Obviously, having those extra couple of laps behind the safety car has just helped us to maintain those tyres. I mean, if we wanted to change onto the softs now, it's about 39 laps worth, so we could definitely do it if we wanted to. But realistically, with 10 laps to go, there wouldn't be any point. There wouldn't be any real advantage, I don't think. I think we're happy enough being on the medium compound tyres, especially being behind the hard runners. They're just struggling enough. The only ones on the softs is Gasly, who we're not going to be keeping with anyway. Guan Yu Zhou and Norris, they're just having a nice little battle at the moment. Just kind of watching here. Could this mean that Albon's going to get a chance to kind of sneak up with them? Is going 3 wide as it currently stands, going into 2 wide, 3 wide again. Yeah, so tyre degradation, exactly what we want to be. The only ones really that could possibly have theoretically pushed us is those Mick Schumacher, Magnussen and Vettel, but of course they are already dropping back behind. Although they have been able to catch up again. So I'm just going to ask,
let's close this gap,
to just push that a little bit at this moment in time.
Yeah, we can easily overtake.
yeah.
And look at this, all down the main pit straight.
We look at reducing the...
So tight right here at the back of the grid. We'll be looking just a chance to ERS for a couple of laps, just so we can really send it again soon. Albon managing to get past Jack into P14. I like seeing our two drivers battle each other out. Some people, they don't like to see your drivers battle because obviously you're worried about crashes, but I'm happy to let our boys go racing. So just give it on that little bit just to allow things to settle in again. And it is everything from Norris backwards. We just, no one can quite manage to find that little extra edge. And there we go. We're going to put back into neutral so they can push and save with their ERS for a little bit. Albon's right on the back of Guan Yu Zhou. Just can't find a little extra he needs just to get past him. And the tyres, they are looking a little bit warm at the moment, so we're just going to back off slightly with the tyres, just allow them to cool down to have another go in another lap or two. We've currently got about 7 laps remaining of our racing.
Increase, lift and coast. Yep, copy.
So just going on board Alexander. I love this camera from the front wing. You can see everything so beautifully. And I'll tell you what, the Zandvoort track is absolutely gorgeous. It is one of those I'd never thought I'd be truly a fan of. But it is an absolutely gorgeous track, a very modern track, I think. You know, very wide, lots of corners, lots of room for overtaking. And I wouldn't mind going there to visit one day, maybe seeing a race weekend or something like that. The tyres are beginning to come down temperature-wise, which is really good. Even though we're not pushing as much as we were, we are still keeping pace with them. And it's of course because of those big long straights. Apparently the tyres are overheating even though we've dropped down. But of course we're asking them just to drop back that little bit just to try and conserve.
The tyres haven't really come down.
Copy.
And this is the problem when you follow for such a long period of time in the dirty air. The tyres are going to eventually overheat no matter what you do.
And we think you can reduce lift and coast.
Yes.
And it looks like Guan Yu Zhou may have just been able to overtake Norris there again. They're squabbling really hard now.
Just use the overtake. Got it.
And is Albon going to be able to do anything? He's just struggling that little bit. So again, go back down into neutral and really look to go for that when we come to the main pit straight.
To use the overtake. Okay.
Really look to send it if we're able to at least get past one of these. They're battling again. It's going to be 3 wide coming down the main pit straight again. Are we able to do it round the outside? Oh, had to switch back to the inside. And can we get the inside here? And then we're going to have to go all the way around the outside. It's going to show. I think it's going to retain his place. We're still alongside him. And we've managed to do it. We've managed to overtake Guan Yu Zhou. Finally.
Nice work.
That was absolutely fantastic. Well done there to Alex. He's now up into P13. Let's watch that again.
Take a closer look. Now watch this. Here's the moments involving Albon.
So all the way around the outside, dropped back a little bit, but then was able to really use that slipstream to get back alongside. Then he had the inside line for the next corner.
The team watching on and clearly loving that.
And with that, I'm going to ask Jack just to begin
It's available if
to
needed.
push for that as well. Because Guan Yu Zhou now has been overtaken, he's going to be losing a little bit of confidence. He doesn't want to lose out there again. Got around about 3 laps to go. 3 laps to go. And look at that massive trainer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars all in a row. This is some exciting stuff. Anyone could do this.
Okay, 5 laps to go.
And is he going to be able to get Guan Yu Zhou on this occasion? Not quite, but he's going to still have another go coming into turns 3 and 4. Not quite on this occasion, so we're going to ask him to look to back off again. Just save those and go for the next time again. We've got a safety car. Saul's locked up a safety car. We are not going to be pitting, not this late on. What has happened?
There's been a crash. Sounds like
It was Yuki Tsunoda.
Now let's look at this. The focus on
Oh,
Tsunoda.
there'll be a lock up straight into the barrier. Massive spin out. You watch this.
There's the crash.
I've seen that so many times, unfortunately, this weekend. That is so
The team are
horrible.
really disappointed with that.
And thinking, coming into this, it was a 0% chance of a safety car. So this is going to move us up the grid. This will move us into, I believe, 12th and 14th. There we go. So Albon currently P12, and Jack currently in P13, and Jack did manage to get ahead of Guan Yu Zhou. So I believe, are we going to end up with just 1 lap of running? Is a safety car coming in this lap, or is it going to be the next lap? It is this lap. So we only have one single lap of running. So everything is going full send. Absolutely full send with everything that we have got. And here we go, ready to restart at Zandvoort for one final lap.
Yes.
And away we go, green flag running, down onto the main pit straight. There we go. So, Albon 12, doing 13th.
Check the DRS.
DRS is already empty.
One more lap.
Oh, and Jack is currently into P11. Jack is in P11. Could he manage to get Gasly and get into the points for 2 races in a row? Can he do this?
And a new position just gained by Williams.
He's going to give it everything he's got. He's got Pierre Gasly just ahead of him. Push with everything you have got, my absolute beauty. I'm on P13, but Jack is going for it. Jack has got everything to go for. Now he is behind Gasly, who is on old soft compound tyres. Could they be just wearing out that tyre a little bit? Are we going to get him? We've only got 1 or 2 more corners left to go. He's going to push. He's going to give it everything he got. Can he get a points finish in 2 races in a row? I don't think it's going to be enough. It looks like it's too far back. And unfortunately, that does it. Jack Doohan finishing in P11. Alexander Albon in P13. Oh my God. These last few races, I have seen Williams begin to make such a leap forward.
A wonderful result here for the Williams driver. Very impressive showing today for Williams.
Yeah, this was a really clever bit of strategy, and it's great to see that pay off. I can't wait to find out what they show us next time.
And as this race weekend comes to a close, the team is 8th in the constructor standings.
We now look ahead to the next round in Monza in Italy. The Temple of Speed is waiting, and the teams will be ready and raring to go.
So Sergio Perez in the end managed to get the fastest lap, but of course Max Verstappen at his home Grand Prix, who else was going to take that but him? Lewis Hamilton managed to finish on the podium for the 2nd race in a row. Unfortunately wasn't quite matching with the previous race where he finished in 1st place in Spa, but as it is, wow. Vettel and Aston Martin and Haas, they are just doing bad. We are managing to get these upgrades on, which are just giving us a little bit of an edge. But then, of course, with some excellent incidents with safety cars, we are really beginning to push ourselves up the grid. Long may this continue. How does it look at the bottom? Any changes? No changes at all. For the constructors, literally no change there as well. Jack Doohan has earned himself a new development point. Anything for Alex? I'm afraid not on this occasion. And of course, both of our drivers get themselves a little bonus. It does seem a little bit unfair that Jack literally gets a bonus of 10,000 just for finishing in 15th or higher, where Albon gets 700 grand for finishing 16th or higher. Maybe we're going to have to address that moving forwards. May have to have a little look-see at that, so thinks. But as we come to the end of this, I do believe we're about to start a new session where we can use our wind tunnel and everything like that. Our weather center has now finally been improved, so that's going to give us a nice little boost. Let me go back down. Where is that in relation to? That was a spa one, that was a prep. Okay, right. So we've got another regulation change coming in. This is to do with financial changes for the next season. So it is basically changing the cost cap, and the proposed regulation is basically to drop the cap by $5 million. I am in favor of this, of bringing more teams closer together. So I am absolutely voting for that. Our weather center is now, is it 3? Yes, it's level 3. So when it comes to the predicting of the weather, we've got an 80% accuracy rating for that. It does cost us an extra $30,000 a month, but that's nothing really there. There we go. So a new testing period begins today. So we're actually not going to spend it on designing a new car park. We are going to use it for research, because as you can see, there are some technical changes happening for the front and the rear wings for next year. So we are going to go full use onto this. So what's it, 6.3? So that's going to be about 6.2, 6.1, and it is 42 that we can use for this. So we want to make sure that we start with a nice little boost for next year. And of course we're going to use 5 engineers for that, and that's going to cost us $784,000 to do that. And that eats into our cost cap. As you can see, we've got so much of that remaining, it's not too big of a deal there at all. So we're going to use the remainder of our budget for the rear wing. So we want to get some really nice boost for our drag reduction, low speed and medium speed corners. So we're not able to design any new slots, so we've literally got 2 at a time. So what I'm thinking, at some point we need to look at improving our design centers. So we need about $11.5 million, so we need to really look at saving up for that. And going down, everyone's talking about wins as they exceed every expectations, currently placing in P8 of the Constructors Championships with 10 points. That is really good to see, and we of course exceeded their expectation, the expectations of the board brilliantly. It was a fantastic race and a strong credit to US team principal. Our confidence in you as a leader has grown quite a bit. Post-race debrief, exactly the same as you're always saying. Of course, we do need to improve his smoothness, which we have been working on steadily, and so we're doing that again. If we were to compare him to Alexander Albon, it is literally cornering, accuracy and reactions that Jack has the advantage over. Everything else is all Alexander Albon. If we compare to the contracts, so basically they've got contracts until the end of next year. So next year we will definitely make sure we do some scouting throughout the year and make sure that we do everything that we need to make sure that we either decide whether we're going to keep them or change over for the following season. So as it currently stands, we are into September. So we're going to have manufacturing some more parts next week, and then of course it is going to be the Italian Grand Prix. I am really looking forward to that. I really am. And we're going to get the results of that vote that we've just done in a week's time. But until then, that is going to do it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've had 2 incredible races tonight, 2 incredible results. I'm really proud of what we're doing as a team. We are starting to manage to just finagle our way up the grid. Let's see if we can keep that going. But for now, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Take care. Bye-bye.